Later, within the dilapidated ruins of the chemical factory, the clone of Miles Warren examines the DNA structure of the newest of Gwendolyn Stacy clones. It's beautiful, isn't it? To think that one small gene, one little deviation in human DNA can contain so much power. He turns to the original Miles Warren, who now is a man covered in green fur, calling himself the Jackal. Trials are going well. The losses have been acceptable. And fun! The Jackal cheers. I like the ones that set themselves on fire. Of course, all losses are acceptable when you can make more, Miles says as the two of them turn to a number of stasis pods. What now? He asks. Now, I go see my boys. Elsewhere, within New York City, Spider-Man makes his daily rounds. All the while, he muses to himself. When I say that I am the greatest superhero to ever walk the planet, there is no arrogance at play, no ego, only fact. As Otto Octavius, I was the world's greatest supervillain. It only makes sense that I would excel at heroics as well. All it took was eliminating Peter Parker. Again. Everything has fallen into place. This city and all of its inhabitants are under the watchful eye of my spiders. Any crime fighting worthy of my attention, and they alert me. My lair and henchmen are coming along nicely, and after that carrion incident, I am beyond reproach by the rest of the superhero community. To think the Avengers put me on probation. Ha! I'm a better Spider-Man than Parker ever was. And frankly, I'm a better Parker than he was as well. His career at Horizon Labs was the pinnacle of his little scientific life. For me, it is a stepping stone for what's to come. I've even begun building a personal life, something Parker never seemed to be able to maintain. Someone much more appropriate than his usual dalliances. Actresses and police officers. Please. Otto, still full of confidence, makes it back to his apartment. The world is my oyster, especially now that the specter of Peter Parker is no longer haunting me. It was truly fascinating to see just how much the lingering memory of Parker held me back, and to come face to face with him in a battle of minds especially. It was exhilarating. Now, finally, I'm free of Parker in every... Suddenly, out of nowhere, Otto is on high alert as he hears a voice from the shadows. You've been busy, the voice tells him. Otto examines the corners of his apartment. He knows that voice. He recognizes that voice. It can't be, he thinks. I like the costume. It's a whole new you, isn't it? Show yourself, Otto orders. Suddenly, a man dressed in red and black lowers himself from the ceiling. Show yourself? He mocks. Is that any way to greet your evil twin? At once, Otto recognizes the man's costume. He's seen it on the news. A story about a new Spider-Man in Houston of all places. Someone calling himself the Scarlet Spider. The Scarlet Spider drops down from the ceiling and removes his mask. You and I have a lot to talk about. I've been watching you for days now, and I thought it'd be best to do this face to face. Otto, distracted, peers at the man's face. It's his own. And this confirms it. The Scarlet Spider is one of Peter Parker's clones. Kaine. Otto mumbles. His face slowly transforms from confusion to anger. For years, this failed clone of Peter Parker tormented Spider-Man for reasons even he didn't understand. And Otto? Otto remembers that voice. He encountered Kaine once as Dr. Octopus. And Kaine killed him. Only by the efforts of the ninja cult, the Hand, was Otto returned to life. But he still remembers. Peter? Kaine asks, growing more concerned about the lost look of anger building in Otto's eyes. Then, Otto attacks. Within a fit of rage, Otto strikes Kaine and sends him flying out of the window. Vengeance will be mine, he tells himself. Kaine is left plummeting to the ground. He scrambles to put on his mask before attempting to zip out a web line in order to swing away. What are you doing? He asks. Have you lost your mind? Otto tackles Kaine before he starts his web swing, causing him to let go of the webs, and they both crash down onto a hood of a car parked more than 6 stories below. You know nothing about my mind, Otto curses. But you will. Otto pins Kaine down and repeatedly punches him to keep the advantage. You'll know what it feels like. What you did to me. You took my life. Kaine kicks Otto off of him. I paid my debt to you, Peter. I died for you. Otto flips backwards and leaps in between buildings to gain the high ground. He then produces his 4 mechanical arms and points them each at Kaine as he prepares for an attack. He screams out, anything you did for him, for Spider-Man. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Don't lie. You know why this is happening, and you knew that one day this would be the price. Otto forces himself to stop. He needs to think this through. Someone could see. Besides, look at him. The Scarlet Spider is half the man Otto is. He's confused and weak. What happened to the Kaine that Otto remembers? Kaine kicks Otto off of him, and the pain ripples through Otto's body. He can barely think. Kaine is surprisingly strong. Maybe even stronger than Otto. How is that possible? Otto thinks. Kaine slowly walks towards Otto, saying, You think I don't know I'm a monster? You think I don't know what I've done to you? I am paying for my crimes. I'm trying to be the better man. I'm trying to do what I thought you wanted. If you don't like it, you can go to hell. Kaine grabs Otto by the face and throws him up in the air and onto the rooftop. He follows up the attack and barely misses. The force of his attack instead shatters a brick chimney under its weight. To be fair, Otto did wonder where the Kaine he had encountered was. Now, he has his answer. But, nevertheless, this degenerate genetic trash will die at his hands. Meanwhile, while Otto is lost in thought, Kaine webs Otto's mechanical arms together and slams him into what's left of the chimney. The leftover bricks shatter against Otto's back. Want to know what I miss about being a supervillain? Beating the crap out of you, you self-righteous. Suddenly, Kaine is tackled off the building by some kind of creature. Otto picks himself up before walking over to the ledge to get a better look. I did not see that coming. Otto cannot decide if this is an infuriating inconvenience or a blessing in disguise. Either way, it would seem that Otto is not the only one who wants to see this Scarlet Spider dead. Kaine? He asks as he watches the Scarlet Spider grapple with a humanoid spider monster with 8 arms and maybe a dozen blood-red eyes, each of which are lighting up, and the creature produces an optic blast that sends Kaine crashing to the ground. Fascinating, Otto thinks. These spider creatures appear to be half human, half spider, with some kind of extra. Otto looks behind him and sees 3 more spider creatures approaching. One growing spikes all over its body. One discharging electricity. And one just standing there. Extra as in X. They have mutant powers. And the spider sense buzzing in my head isn't the only bad feeling I have now. Several days ago, I encountered a mutated spider. A spider that had mutant powers. Based on the X-Men's analysis, it was a clone. A human that had spider and mutant DNA spliced into it. This would appear to be an evolution of that theme. One of the creatures tackles Otto off of the building. The other swings after with its electric webs. Otto fights off the first and thinks to himself that this is not his fight. If Kaine's creator wishes him dead, then more power to him. But then, the third creature teleports in within a cloud of black smoke and grabs onto Otto before slamming him on the car hood below. The creature with the electric webs binds Otto and he yells out in pain. Today started off so well, he thinks. Ending it by taking sweet vengeance on his killer was to be but icing on the cake. Now, being killed by spiders. Someone, somewhere, must be laughing. The spider creature with the spikes hisses as it closes in on Otto. Luckily, the Scarlet Spider has his back. Kaine webs the creature and pulls it away from Otto, saying, "Get away from my idiot brother." "What do you think you're doing?" Otto asks. "What does it look like? I'm saving your jerk life. I do not need your help." "Sure you don't. Any idea what these things are?" "You of all people should know." "What does that mean?" The two brothers fight back to back. Otto lifts up a car and pins one of the creatures against a building to buy himself some time. This fight is in danger of going very public. I need to end this. He looks over to Kaine. And I need to end him. These monsters. A solution presents itself. Perhaps I can kill 2 abominations of science with 1 stone. Otto leaps in to attack Kaine in his blind spot. These creatures won't talk. Who's really to say who killed the Scarlet Spider? Suddenly, Otto is smacked across the face and out of the air by a surprise attack. It burns. He looks up and sees the carrion, Dr. Miles Warren, and the Jackal. Now, the Jackal begins. You know I hate to see my children fight. Wait, that's not right. I love it. Jackal, you're dead, Kaine bellows as he produces 2 massive pincers from his wrists and dives in for the killing blow. Call me Dad, the Jackal chides as Carrion stops Kaine by grabbing him out of the air and pinning him to the ground. His touch burns. It burns away Kaine's mask and sears the flesh off his face. What? What was that? I'm having a hard time hearing you through the screaming. You love me and you want to come home? No? You want to be put out your misery? The Jackal, Otto thinks. I knew him even before he went insane. A geneticist named Miles Warren. His reputation preceded him. And Carrion. I thought I had disposed of him. But when cloning is involved. Clone? My clone. I see his face. I see my face. They're going to kill him. No, this is what he deserves. He killed me. But his scream. It's my voice. Otto makes up his mind and leaps into the fray, thinking that if anyone is going to kill Kaine, it will be him. Otto kicks away the Jackal and binds Carrion with his webs in order to free Scarlet Spider from his poisonous grasp. What took you so long? Kaine asks. Internal debate. Well, at least you're honest. The Jackal cackles and instructs his creatures to attack. Oh, now it's a party. First one to bring me a limb gets a treat. To Otto's surprise, Kaine doesn't hold back. He's aiming to kill these creatures. This is certainly something he didn't inherit from Parker. Honestly, Otto respects this. But Kaine has no strategy, no thought behind his acts. Otto tells himself that he will have to use this against Kaine later. But for now, it leaves him open. Otto instructs Kaine to deal with Carrion while he deals with the man in green fur. No! Kaine shouts. Jackal is mine! Oh, tell the truth, the Jackal tells them. You missed me, didn't you? Suddenly, out of nowhere, Otto is shot in the back. He was half ignoring his spider sense to get to Jackal, and he couldn't move in time. But then, Otto freezes. He freezes as he sees Gwen Stacy, the daughter of Police Captain George Stacy, whom Otto killed, holding a smoking gun. I'm sorry, Peter, she says as she watches Spider-Man slowly lose consciousness. Hey guys, so if you made it to this part of the video, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Superior Spider-Man is by far my favorite story of all time. So, yeah, thanks for letting me share this with you. But remember, we have our DC TV weekly recaps every Wednesday around 1 p.m. Pacific time. And after that, the episodes will be uploaded separately on our second channel, the OverLook Media. 3 words. So yeah, if you guys want to talk about TV, movies, or anything like that with us, go check out that channel. Until then, I hope everyone has a great rest of the night.